Okay, so we're going to add a boss to our game, and there are just tons of options for adding a boss to a game. Like, what does the boss look like? When does the boss appear? What does the boss do? What makes the boss go away? Okay, and all of this is part of the design of the overall game, right? So how does it all fit into the overall game? So we're going to try to strip away as much of that as possible and just focus on a simple version of a boss, and then we can always add complexity later. And that's how I like to do things in general with game design, is get the basic idea and then build on that. Okay, because these things tend to get complex on their own. So let's start with a boss. We need to create a new sprite, and then we can figure out how to program it. Again, lots of options, but I'm just going to go with a larger version of the alien that we've had. So I'm going to go find that sprite in my sprites. And I think it was called Starfish. There it is, Starfish. And it's already giant. So that's great. I don't really have to do much. If I go to alien here, see the other alien is this tiny little thing. So I'll hide that again. So here's this one's going to be the boss. I need to turn them around. So I'm going to go to costumes and click flip horizontal. And there are 2 frames. So I want to flip them both. Now he is facing the right way. He or she, I don't know. It. And get it positioned where I want it. One of the things that I think we will skip with the boss spawning is not worrying about it being in a random place like we have with the other stars, but just have it be just right in the middle there, and then maybe it'll start moving. So there's the boss. You could change the color too if you want. I'm gonna just leave it for now. And then we need to tell it what to do when the game starts. So when the game starts, there is no boss, right? It's hiding, so we'll hide it. We go to events. When green flag is clicked, hide. Okay, test that. Okay, it hid itself. Okay, now what is going to cause it to appear? Lots of different ways we could do this. I decided to do it based on time because we haven't really worked with time yet. So I thought that would be something interesting to try to figure out. What do we want to do? We want to say something like when a certain amount of time has passed, make the boss appear, right? So in the boss, we could say when a certain amount of time has passed, show yourself, okay? So how do we do that? I'm going to interrupt myself for 1 second here and I forgot to name this sprite, so let's name it boss. It's good to name things. And now we're going to see how to say if a certain amount of time has passed. So there is something in here. If you go to sensing, these kind of bluish colored blocks, there is a timer variable built into every Scratch game that you have the option of using. If you check the little checkbox, you can see the timer variable will be displayed in your game. Now, we don't probably need that most of the time, but we'll leave it on for a second. And then what happens with the timer variable if I hit the green go flag? It resets. So every time you click go, it resets. And what is it doing? It's counting seconds. It's actually counting fractions of a second. What fraction is that going to? 3 decimal places, tens, hundreds, thousands. So it's counting thousandths of a second, okay? Which sometimes is important, sometimes not so much. When it comes to spawning a boss, we could probably just deal with seconds. Okay, so there's our timer. I'm going to leave that displayed for now. What we want to do is say if timer is greater than, I don't know, you pick, how long do you want to wait till the boss appears? 10 seconds, 5 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, you decide, okay? It has to be in seconds though. So if it's a minute or 2 minutes, you have to say 120 or 60, okay? So the timer is always in seconds. So you'll see once it gets to 60, it keeps going. And it'll just go into the hundreds or thousands. How do we do that? So, well, there are a couple ways we could do this. We could say, you know, forever if timer is greater than whatever number, 10, then create the boss or show the boss. However, I think there's a better way to do this. And that's with this wait until block, because this will make the code will execute until it gets to this point, and then it'll stop and wait until this condition is true. What is the condition? If timer is greater than 5. Okay, so we want to say timer greater than 5. So we have to construct this statement. We have to find, there's timer. We have to find a greater than. Is that greater than? Nope, that's less than. Greater than. So we want to say timer greater than, and this is where you can decide how long it takes. I recommend putting a small number until you get it working. So I'm just going to put 5 seconds so I can test it easily. Timer greater than 5. Put that inside our wait until block. So now it says wait until timer is greater than 5, then show. And now we can test it. So I'm going to hit play. Timer resets. It's counting 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's the boss. Okay, so now what? Well, now I can make the timer hide so that it doesn't distract us. I'm gonna uncheck that and the timer is hidden. It's still happening, we just can't see it anymore. You can spawn the boss by score if you want in your own game. I want you to do it this way for the assignment, okay? Because I want you to learn how to use the timer. So the next thing we want to do then is to have the boss do something. So typically what you could do is have it move, okay, in some way, and you have to decide how do you want it to move. So I think a simple way to do this would be to have it just move up and down on the side of the screen, like a moving target kind of thing. Then maybe we'll have it, sending out something that's trying to injure our player, and then maybe our player can send something back towards it. Okay, so first we need to figure out how to get it to move. Well, what we want to do is make it move up and down. So up, and then when it hits the edge, to turn around. So, what are we could start to get some of the blocks out and try to piece it together. One way we've had things move was to change the coordinates. And I think that's a good way to do it. So if you wanted to move up and down, which coordinate are you changing? Is that X or Y? Okay, so that's Y. That's going to be the Y coordinate. So we want to find a block that's going to change Y. Change Y by a certain amount. So if I click this right now, change Y by 10, you can see what's going to happen. Okay, so it'll change Y by 10. And eventually it goes, whoops, outside. We don't want that, right? So then we want to probably have it detect when it touches the edge. So we can go here, if, and then sensing, we go to touching, if touching edge, we can have it turn around. Now this is the part that's a little bit of a puzzle, isn't it? How do you have it change direction? You could say if touching edge, change y by -10, but then it'll only do that while it's touching the edge, and then it'll go back. So it'll kind of end up just hitting the edge and bouncing off. It'll turn around, come back, turn around, come back, right? So there's a little trick that we can do, and that is to use create a variable for the boss's speed. Now follow me here. This is going to get a little bit in the weeds. So first we want to make a variable called boss speeds, BOSS SPEED. And I capitalized the S in speed so that you can read it better. And that was for all sprites. I just left it at all sprites. Okay, so now we have this boss speed variable. And what we can do is use that to control how fast the boss moves. So we can set the boss speed when the game starts. I'm going to make it 5. And then you can change y by boss speed. Okay, so this is the amount that it moves each step. Boss speed amount, okay, so which is 5. So whenever it moves by that amount. Okay, so now here's the trick. What we can say is if touching edge, we want it to reverse its direction. Okay, so if it's going up at a speed of 5, what would we change to make it go down at a speed of 5? If boss speed is +5 to make it go up, what's boss speed going to need to be to make it go down?
-5.
-5. Okay, so we can use a simple mathematic trick to convert that boss speed from 5 to -5. Any guesses on how we're going to do that?
Multiply it by -1.
Multiply by -1, exactly. So we're going to set boss speed to boss speed times -1. So we're going to take the current value, multiply it times -1, and that'll make it -5. The cool thing about that is once that's happened and it now is -5 and it hits the bottom edge, it's going to multiply boss speed times -1 again. What happens when you multiply -5 times -1? It becomes +5 again. So by multiplying by -1, we can flip the direction. Pretty cool. Math is cool. So let's just find all the different pieces we need here. We need to find the multiplication, and we need to add boss speed in there, and then put -1 times -1. Okay, so this little green block here says boss speed times -1. We're going to plug that into the set boss speed. So what does this all say? If we were to read this as a sentence, it says change y by boss speed. If touching edge, then set boss speed to boss speed times -1. So in other words, reverse the direction. So we can put that right here. There's one piece missing, and we want this to repeat, right? So it's constantly adding 5 to the y or subtracting, so it repeats that over and over. That's what makes it move. So we're going to go to our control and find our forever loop and put that right there. And then that puts it all together. And assuming we didn't make a mistake, we should see the boss spawn after 5 seconds and then start moving up and then bounce off the top and bounce off the bottom. Okay, that's the beginning of something. So congratulations, you just programmed your first artificial intelligence. Okay, that's all it is. It's just pre-planned behaviors, at least at its most simple. There are more complicated forms of artificial intelligence nowadays, like machine learning, but we're not going to get into that right now. So the next thing we have to decide is how to make our boss attack. And I think that's maybe a good topic for the next lesson.